Yeah. Future quality assurance task force meetings are held in person, and it's important for everyone to be here in order for us to have a quorum. Once we've reached a quorum in the room, votes casted by those joining virtually can then be acknowledged. Members of the public are also able to participate virtually, and we encourage everyone to do so. I'd also like to ask members that you please be mindful to turn on your microphone before speaking, and deactivate it after you have said your remark or asked your question. This is very helpful to ensure that everyone is able to be heard by those in the room as well as online. We will now move to our agenda review and announcements. Ms. Whittington, you are recognized.
Well, good morning, Madam Chairman. Good morning, members, and thank you to everyone who's joining us both in the room and online. First, I'd like to recognize Mr. Rob Giltz. He is here as alternate this morning. He's to your right, Madam Chair and members. He's here for Wendy Ford, and so he is replacing Corey Blowers, who used to be her alternate. And so we'll see a lot more of Rob, and we'll circle back and have an orientation with him as well. Madam Chair, I'd like to also announce a couple of staff changes here at Metro Plan Orlando. Cynthia Lambert is no longer with Metro Plan. She has decided to take a period of personal reflection before deciding what is next for her. And we had an opportunity to celebrate her. We respect her decision and look forward to hearing where she lands in the future. We are also grateful that she left us in good shape. We were able to fill the position from within. So today I'm happy to announce Mary Ann Horn's promotion to the position of Public Information Manager. Mary Ann has been with us for more than 12 years. She worked very closely with Cynthia, and she's more than capable of ensuring that our organization's work continue to thrive and to be held up as a model in MPO world. So I hope that you all will help me in congratulating Mary Ann. And speaking of our work and congratulations, in September, we received the Outstanding Designated Official Planning Agency of the Year Award. And this was from the State Commission for Transportation Disadvantaged. This award recognizes the planning agency that has gone above and beyond the scope of their work to support the TD program and exceeded their scope in assisting transportation disadvantaged citizens in their area. And so I do have the award here that we received back in September. And I want to say congratulations to all of you. It's not just the agency, but it is because of the good work that you all do around this table and your interest in TD and your support for the program. So congratulations, not just to Metro Plan Orlando, but to you all. Very, very deserving. Tomorrow, we will host along with FDOT, the Blind Experience. I want to remind you of this event tomorrow. It's being held in partnership with FDOT and is among many activities being held during Mobility Week, which started last Friday. It's going through the end of this week. And the Blind Experience is being held at the City of Orlando headquarters that's at the corner of South Street and Orange Blossom Trail. If you have not participated in this event before, we highly recommend you do so. You will not be disappointed. The event starts at 9 o'clock with information tables available with our partners and information there. And then the program will begin promptly at 10 o'clock. There will be some remarks from some of the elected official and other partner organizations. And then the blind experience happens where we have volunteers from Lighthouse Central Florida that are partnered with people who are sighted, and the sighted people put on blindfolds, and you get to experience the built environment walking as those who do this every day, navigating the transit and transportation system. And if you can imagine Orange Blossom Trail being one of a high volume highway, but those volunteers they will keep you safe. I promise. They do this every day. And so if you have not and you're able to add that onto your calendar, please do. Next, the TDLCB meeting, I want to remind you, November 14th will be held off-site. We're at the heart of West Lakes Wellness Center. That's located at 710 Tampa Avenue. This is our annual public meeting that we are required to have, and that will be followed by our LCB meeting. Madam Chair and members, this concludes my announcements. There are no changes to the agenda, and we are prepared to proceed with the agenda as printed.
Orlando, but it's the Orlando Police Department, which is
Yes.
under the city of, but it's.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I
Okay.
did not finish my sentence. then.
Okay.
If I stopped at City of Orlando, it was supposed to be City of Orlando Police Department.
Okay.
Thank you for catching that.
Okay, well, thank you again. So it's now time for our roll call and confirmation of quorum. Ms. Rachel, please call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Baldwin.
Present.
Berry.
Present.
Delano. Giltz. Hickling.
Present.
Melia. Olson. Stone. Madam Chair, that concludes the roll call. We do have a quorum.
Thank you so much. We will now hear public comments on action items before us today. We ask that you provide your name and address for the record, and please hold your comments to 2 minutes or less. If any member of the public wishes to comment and are joining us virtually, please use the raise hand function and you will be recognized. If you are joining us using your phone only, please dial *9 on your phone keypad to be recognized. Do we have anyone joining us virtually who would like to make a comment?
Madam Chair, we do not have any hands raised on the virtual side.
Thank you. Do we have any members of the public attending in person that wish to make a comment?
We've received no comments, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any written comments that were submitted before the meeting?
We have not received any, Madam Chair.
No comments at this time. Thank you. We will move on to our action items. We will have the 2025 wait, hold on. Oh, wait, hold on.
We're at the 2025 QATF
Proposed meeting schedule.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Hold on. When I say hold on, I meant hold on, seriously. I have some new hardware that I need. Wait, let me put them on. Yes, now. I have to get used to wearing them. Miss Virginia Whittington.
Madam Chair, thank you. Your 2025 proposed QATF meeting schedule is presented today for your approval. I would like to note that when you are asked to approve this in tandem with the LCB schedule next month, we'll be calling attention to that May 15th date, which has been adjusted to avoid a calendar conflict. So it's not the normal Thursday. We usually meet the second Thursday of the month quarterly, but this is the third Thursday of the month, but that is for the TDLCB meeting. Today, you're asked to approve your QATF schedule.
Thank you, Ms. Whittington. Any questions? Did you have a question?
No, I'm ready to approve.
Oh, I'm ready. Is there a motion to recommend approval?
I recommend approval.
Do I have
Marilyn Baldwin.
Thank you, Ms. Marilyn. Do I have a second? Thank you so much. We have a motion. It was properly seconded. Are there any discussion? This is a voice vote, so all of those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. And those who oppose may do the same. Hearing none, the motion is approved. Next, we will hear about the review and recommend approval of our annual expenditure report. Ms. Whittington, you're up again.
Okay, Madam Chair, thank you. The next two items actually are annual requirements that you are required to endorse, if you will, or recommend the LCB endorse, and they are presented for your approval or recommendation to the board. Are there any questions?
No questions? Is there a motion to recommend approval?
So moved. Marilyn Baldwin. I'll second Cheryl Stone.
Thank you. It's been moved and properly seconded. This is another voice vote. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed may do the same. Hearing none, the motion passes. Next, we have review and recommended approval of our annual operating report. Ms. Whittington.
And likewise, Madam Chair, this is an annual requirement, and we have met the requirements as needed by the state. And so we present it for recommendation of approval today.
Thank you, Ms. Whittington. Any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve it.
Is there a second? Thank you.
Second.
Oh, I'm
Betsy
sorry.
Delana.
Okay, thank you. It's been moved and properly seconded. Are we ready for the vote? All those in favor, please say aye. Those who are opposed may do the same. Thank you so much. The motion carries. Next, we have the review of applications and make some recommendations to fill our TDLCB vacancies. Mrs. Whittington.
Okay, usually it's Norm's name that's called all the time, huh? Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. Annually, we release a call for interested parties for to fill vacancies for open seats on the TDLCB. This year, we announced 3 seats, and I'll remind you that we do this even though there may be an incumbent in the seat, so that we can get other interested parties to submit applications in case something happens like what happened this time. So we announced the 3 open seats, the at-large alternate, for-profit operator, and one representing the elderly. We received at the conclusion of the deadline, which was October 22nd, we received a total of 10 applications. 7 of the 10 were deemed eligible. 2 we'll look at today, which needs a little bit more discussion, especially if one of those 2 you recommend to be moved forward. And 1 was determined ineligible because they do work for a transportation agency. And then yesterday, Madam Chair and members, I received another submission, but it's not being submitted to you because it was past the deadline. And so staff does have a recommendation, if that is in order, if you're okay with me giving the recommendation and then tossing it to you for discussion. Ms. Charlotte Campbell currently serves as the at-large alternate. She has been in this seat and position since 2022. And she has had a great attendance record. She has expressed interest in continuing to serve on this board. And so our recommendation to you is that Charlotte Campbell fill the vacancy for the representing the elderly over 65. That seat became vacant as Ms. Cheryl Stone called and declined to seek reappointment. And so she will be leaving the board, and that is what created that vacancy. And so again, we have the opportunity to recommend from within, if you will, with Charlotte filling that, and then possibly finding a person to fill the at-large alternate seat from those who you have in front of you today. Call her name and she walks into the room. Hello, Ms. Campbell. Your ears must have been burning.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
And we did not receive any applications for the for-profit operator. So, Madam Chair, with this, I will yield to the QATF for your discussion. And again, the recommendation of staff is that Ms. Campbell filled the seat representing the elderly over 65, and that from those applications that were submitted, you select an alternate, at-large alternate.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Whittington? It's time for discussion. Did everyone have an opportunity to review? Okay, and I also had an opportunity to review, and for the elderly, we can start there since we do have a recommendation. Did anyone have anyone other than Ms. Charlotte Campbell as their top recommendation?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that Ms. Charlotte Campbell become the representative of persons who are 65 or older.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Are we ready for the vote? This is a voice vote as well?
Yes.
Okay, this is a voice vote. So all those in favor of Charlotte Campbell becoming the representative for the elderly may say aye. Aye. Those who are opposed, you may do the same. Thank you, and the motion passes. Congratulations, Ms. Campbell. Yay. We don't have anything, you said for the for-profit. I didn't see one for the for-profit, so we don't have an application for that. And the next one was the alternate. So that's where more discussion. So let's hear some feedback from our team members here, committee members regarding the alternate. Ms. Stone, you're recognized.
Or Charlotte, or she picked that, right?
It's the alternate,
If I can explain, Madam
Yes,
Chair,
please.
a couple of years ago, we changed the bylaws for the TDLCB so that the alternate does not just represent one person in their absence, but
Oh,
it
that's
could be
right,
any
yeah.
person who is absent that alternate would
So
fill
what
in.
we-
And they come to all of the meetings and would only vote if there's not a quorum.
Okay,
Or
so
if
what
they're
we're
needed
needing
to
is a
make the
new
quorum.
alternate
So it's at large, yes.
at large, okay. And that's what we're discussing right now, right? I would just like to throw into the conversation that Carla Radka, mostly because she's from Seminole County, might be someone worth considering because it's hard sometimes to get people that are in some of the outlying counties like Osceola and Seminole to be represented on the board. It's just, we get a lot of Orange County people, which are good people, don't get me wrong, but you know.
And I thank you for that, Ms. Stone. As it relates to Ms. Rack, I see that she's had some involvement. Has she been attending meetings?
Thank you for that, Madam Chair. She is the person who was replaced by Wendy Ford and the agency, the area agency on aging. She did not have a good attendance record, nor did her representative or alternate come in her stead, and she did have a specific alternate. So that was one of the reasons that she was replaced from this board. I'm not sure if her situation has changed that would allow her to come more frequently, but that was the experience that we had with her, the latest, prior to Wendy being appointed.
Thank you, Ms. Whittington.
She noted that she's from Seminole
Seminole
County.
County.
Is there anyone else on the list? You won't bear with me. I am in between glasses. Hopefully we'll have some for the next meeting.
Mhm.
They broke. So bear with me. But is there anyone else from Seminole County?
Yes, we had a few from Seminole County.
Madam Chair, can I?
So there
Yes, you may.
those? Okay, there is Cena Underwood is from Seminole County. And this is a person who expressed interest for serving with people or representing people with disabilities. She's female, white, age 45 to 54. And she did not note any indications that she would not be able to attend. In fact, she said that she would be able to attend regularly. The next representative is Kimberly Rainey. And Kimberly Rainey is one of the others that I noted needed some additional discussion. She is from Seminole County. She's female and white, also aged 45 to 54. Her husband works for Lynx. So that may present a conflict, but again, that is at the discretion of this board and possibly some feedback from our Lynx representatives.
He is in the project management side of the house. So any new bus shelters, transfer stations, he oversees that type. He doesn't get involved in the operations per se.
So again, that was just the reason we wanted your discussion, because it's at the discretion of this board. Next, there's Nori Rodriguez, also from Seminole County, Hispanic, 45 to 54, and is eligible, and says that she would be able to attend all the meetings. And finally, Tashara Cooper, Seminole County resident, female, Black, 45 to 54, and is eligible to serve and is able to attend the meetings. So those are, I mean, we have quite a mix from Seminole County, which is odd. We usually don't have that many.
Tashara is from Orange County, it says.
She,
in
on her application, it says Orange County, but when you look up her address, it is actually in Seminole.
Seminole County.
That may have been a miss.
Okay.
And we do check these to make sure that they live within the designated area. Otherwise, they're ineligible.
Feedback
She actually lives in, I'm sorry, Tashara actually lives in Oviedo.
Okay.
with the 32765. I do everything by zip
Madam
code.
Chair, just for thought, just to get the conversation going. We are only approving one seat today?
There were two,
Two. Okay,
Charlotte was
Yeah.
one, and then there's an at-large alternate. And
Okay.
if for some reason you wanted to add to that, that's the discretion of this board. If you wanted to do a primary person and a secondary, if you wanted to add two alternates, that's up to you.
Oh, that's good to know.
yes. I would think of maybe the first person
Miss-
that, I'm sorry,
1 second, Miss Charlotte. Go ahead, Miss Marilyn.
I'm sorry, didn't know someone else wanted. I would say the first person that Miss Virginia recommended and Tashara Cooper.
Okay, the
is that
first recommendation
name?
was Miss Charlotte Campbell with.
No,
Oh.
there was another, when she went.
Oh, do you
through the-
mean Cena Underwood?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Thank you for that. Miss, did you have a question? Were you making a statement or?
No, I was just wondering how many positions do we have to consider at this meeting? I mean,
For the alternate?
well, not for whatever positions have been,
There were three. There was an alternate, a for-profit, and the position for the elderly. We voted on the position for the elderly, which is you. We did not receive any applications for the for-profit, and we're having discussion about the alternate now. Ms. Whittington stated that we are able to have an alternate, a primary and a secondary alternate, and so we're having that discussion now.
but
I would make those two.
I think Marilyn suggested Tashara Cooper as the alternate, and so that should be considered.
So Ms. Marilyn, and this is for everyone, has recommended Cena Underwood as a primary with Tashara Cooper as the alternate. Am I stating that correctly, Ms. Marilyn?
Yes.
Any discussion with that? Anyone, any further discussion? Ms. Stone?
The only caveat that I would want to consider is a person with a disability. Not that, you can't be a very strong advocate if you do not have a disability, but if we're talking an alternate at large, then that would encompass everything people with and without. Whereas somebody who doesn't have that life experience.
Let me interject here.
Yeah.
Tashara Cooper is blind.
Oh, it is?
I think, yeah, the way I'm reading it,
I would
Oh,
go.
I thought you said Cena
Reverse.
Underwood. Okay.
but am I reading this correctly when it says so Cena, when it says representing the disabled, what does that, can you clarify that for us, Ms. Whittington?
Sure, the first column that you get to, where it says under Cena Underwood's name, that says persons with disabilities. That is actually the seat or her passion, if you will. 5 columns over, it says 4 columns over is where it asks the question if they have a physical disability, and she says she does not. So
Letting Tashara be
The primary?
primary and the other lady being the secondary.
So any discussion on this half? Okay. Yes, Ms. Delano?
Ask if, they're both Access Links user.
However, yes, they are both Access Links users, and the physical disability column, which is between race and age, one is a yes, one is a no.
So how do you use the Access Links if you're not disabled? Or you
Not-
can have a mental disability rather than physical, is that why? Or-
Yes,
Oh, okay.
and we know, I think someone knows Tashara?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
we ask if I'm sorry, Madam Chair, we ask if they use links. So
Is
it's the links.
It says Access Link system user for both.
Is this?
Could be
the-
TD.
Could be, that's what.
Okay, I need to clarify a couple of things.
Okay.
Under the column where it says seats of interest,
Mhm.
those are the seats that they indicated on their application that they are interested in filling. So when you look back on the application, right, select the seats that they're qualified for and interested in filling. It does not mean that both of them use Access Links, because we don't ask about the use of Access Links. We ask about links, fixed route. And then if they state that they have a passion, they would check all that apply. If they are applying for a seat that is vacant, that is the Access Links seat system user, which is currently occupied by Bob Melia, then we would check to verify that they are Access Links users, but we don't specifically ask that question.
Thank you for that clarification. So what we have, and it's a simply discussion right now, what we have is Tashara Cooper out of Seminole County, uses links regularly. You can see her passion for her advocacy, her seats of interest. She said yes for physical disability as the primary. As a secondary, Cena Underwood uses links regularly. See her passion, her seats of interest. However, physical disability is a no. So do we have any other recommendations outside of Tashara Cooper as primary and Cena, what's her name again? Underwood as secondary alternate? Any other discussions, any other questions on any of the other candidates?
One more question.
Yes, Ms. Marilyn?
Miss Virginia, are any of the other applicants did they state that they have a physical disability?
The ones who are eligible, yes. Ms. Jessica Young, who is in Orange County. Kimberly Rainey, who is Seminole County. And Tashara Cooper are the ones who say yes. And I didn't mention Charlotte Campbell because she's already in the other seat.
Understood.
What do you think, Madam Chair?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So my first was, I didn't know about the secondary, but I did have, I had Tashara Cooper. It was very interesting first. Well, I had Charlotte Campbell, so we did that already, but I had Tashara Cooper, Cena Underwood, and then, Jessica Young in that order.
What stood out to you about Jessica? Just
Well,
curious.
I was just organizing them 1 to 3 in case we
Okay.
had some, so that's what it was. And what I saw is that, just her living in Orange County, but I didn't know what we could do or what we couldn't do. So
Right.
I just wanted to make sure everyone had a place.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay.
Ms. Delano, you have another question? Oh, okay. Okay. Any other feedback? I can't see that. Does anything stand out for you? It would be great.
I really like Tashara Cooper.
Okay.
Looking at her, just her qualifications and that, I think she would be a strong person on the board.
Okay.
I kind of agree with you as far as the order you put, as far as your ranking, based on what I had read. Kind of follow you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more discussion? All right, I think we're ready. So I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second that, Cheryl's done.
Okay. Well, it's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed, you may do the same. Thank you all so much. The motion carries, and it would be Ms. Tashara Cooper as the primary alternate with Cena Underwood as the secondary.
Wonderful, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you all so very much. That's always very interesting, and I love to hear the feedback. And that, Ms. Whittington, looks like you are finished. All
Well, I
right.
think,
let's move-
Mr. Million
Oh,
had a,
That's right. You did
comment.
have a question. I apologize.
It's kind of an observation and a question. We seem kind of orange and Seminole heavy. And Cheryl and Marilyn may know the answer to this. Orange County has or had at least a disability advisory board with people that were well-intentioned and some, in my opinion, brought more to the table than others. Does Osceola have the same thing? And maybe we could use them as a conduit to recruit viable candidates in the future so that we have input from that county as well.
Not have a disability advisory board.
No.
I share your concern, but if they don't apply,
No, I understand, but.
I share your
And I agree
concern.
with that, but who's out there that could be a viable candidate that just doesn't know and hasn't been made aware, so I'm just trying to figure out, what avenues there may be to reach out to individuals with, physical diagnoses, visual impairments in that county to try to recruit them and
Staff does a very good job of advertising it, and perhaps those of us who volunteer with disability organizations can reach out in the future and see if there's anybody, who is interested and eligible.
I have a friend who's on the board for blinded veterans in Osceola County. I'm not just in Osceola County, but he lives in Osceola County. So I could reach out to him and see if he, he might have any recommendations of not only his organization or others out there. Marilyn and I used to belong to the Orange County Disability Advisory Board, but kind of went bust. So I hear rumors that there's something out there in the county, but nobody I know knows anything about it. So I don't know if they're required to have one, quote unquote, and that's what we have. Don't know.
Good question.
I just Googled and I don't see where they have a disability.
No.
But I see a Metro Plan Orlando Community Advisory Committee. Oh, okay, okay.
Virginia, on the Links Board, are there there must be county representatives.
Yeah.
Could we approach them and ask what avenues they would suggest?
Absolutely. We can reach out to them, ask them. We do advertise all of the open seats, not just on social media, but we send it out and hope that you would use your networks to let folk know as well. And we have gotten more interest in our committees and boards than we ever have. And so that, I mean, we used to get 1 or 2 applications.
Yeah.
So to get 10 or 11 for 3 seats. And on that community advisory committee, we had 5 vacancies and got 40 applications.
Wow.
So I think that just shows how interested people are. We always have a mix of, there may be a lot from Osceola one year and not so many the next year, but we do our due diligence in trying to ensure that our board members will host it on their websites and make announcements as well. So we'll certainly follow up with those 2 organizations that I heard of today.
I have another question.
Ms. Stone, you're recognized.
Thank you. For Virginia, when you talk to applicants for different positions on this board in particular, do you ask them why? Are they interested in doing this? From a personal experience, I came on this board probably 20 years ago because I was really angry. And it was, educate yourself and try and change the system. And sometimes that's a reflection, are things not going well in the different communities, different counties that we as a board may not know, that's under the, I don't know, under our eyesight there, that there may be some problems with the system, or maybe they're just civic minded. But do you ask them how they, why this board?
But when the applications are submitted, we do ask them for a statement of interest to let us
Okay.
know why they're interested in serving. We don't speak with them until a decision is made. We send them a thank you for applying and let them know what the
Okay.
process is. And now that we have Tashara and Sina, I will reach out to them to make sure that they are still interested
Mhm.
and are able to serve. And then once it goes to the LCB at your November meeting and the LCB approves it, they will be able to be joined to the board at that time. But we don't speak to them once
Initially.
We don't.
Yeah.
We don't speak to them initially. No.
And do you keep this group of applications just in case?
We do
Somebody
keep
else
the
leaves.
applications just in case. But typically, if there is a vacancy that comes up, it just depends on what point
You
throughout the
advertise.
year, right? There's not a lot of turnover.
Yeah.
But like I said, we do advertise each year, say there are at least 2 appointments that are up.
Mhm.
And we ask the person who is the incumbent if they're interested in remaining, and we also advertise it just in case they're not, so that we fill
Gotcha.
up the pool of other interested applicants.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you all so much. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we will continue with our agenda. And it's Mr. Norm Hickling, and we'll hear from Links in the CTC update.
All. You sure you don't want to hear from Virginia? I'm fine. I'm good. She can go right through this, right? So, hey, before I start, we always bring an entourage with us. So from Access Links. So today, you all know Salita Stubbs, our Senior Manager for Mobility Services, and Ben Gonzalez that keeps paratransit going. He's one of our supervisors. And but today we're new. We have Johanna Duran. She is the Operations Manager for TransDev. So she didn't think she was going to be introduced, but and then Juan Grimaldi, he is the Safety Manager. So Juan, he has been with TransDev ever since they started this contract, but he was with MV Transportation. So there's a lot of continuity there. So wanted to make sure. That's your audience today, ladies and gentlemen. So we bring it all. So anyways, so here we have today's report for the last quarter. Again, like we've done in the past, we're going to give you an overview, just talk about trip demand, the Access Links performance, and how we're doing in providing that service out to the community. Customer service activity, a lot of phone calls still come in. The opportunities that we have to improve and get better, and a summary, and then we'll be open for your questions and comments that you might have. So with that, we still continue to increase the trip demand. We are at 9.3% over where we were at the same time in 2023. So you can see pretty healthy and robust growth there. Strong demand for the service. We keep getting a lot of calls, a lot of reservations coming in. But the team's doing good, right at that 90% on-time performance, which we're real proud of. Our call center is facing a lot of challenges. They get a lot of calls, and we'll show that to you. 40% of the calls come in are still looking for that estimated time of arrival, and people want to know where their trips are, and they want to hold on until they see that bus. So it's taken a lot of time, and you're going to see the number has gone up a little bit because of some of the calls and the time we're on the phone with folks. And then just a little bit about our replacement program that we have for our paratransit fleet, 85 vehicles on in order. So here you can see the numbers. Year to date, 484,681. So healthy growth over what it was last year. I hope I did the math right with a 9% increase. I think I did. I checked it 2 or 3 times with a calculator on my phone because I didn't do it in my head. I can assure you that. But again, we're well over that 50,000 mark, and it's continues to stay pretty high and pretty robust. As far as our performance goes, you are able to track where we're at, or have been since January, and each month we put it up there. In September, we had 54,000, a little over 54,000 trips. In August, we had that 56,000, almost 57,000 trips. So you can see very healthy. Yet corresponding on the chart to the right on the top there, we're 93%, 91%, 91%. So since we started with TransDev this January 1, all up right at 89%, which is a pretty consistent performance, and it's been a good trend. We have some challenges, obviously, with the older vehicles and having them out into revenue service. We need those new vehicles coming in to keep that on-time performance going. And you can still, from the bottom chart there, we try to show you just where the biggest trip generators are. Employment, a big one. But when you look at dialysis and cancer and then medical, if you added those two together, we are carrying a lot of folks taking care of their medical needs and life support. The customer service activity, this is our challenge. And this is something that we're putting a big press on. It's gone up to 6 minutes and 7 seconds. We have average calls per agent is increasing. Based on the chart, it's up to 59 now. That is pretty high. You can all imagine if you took 59 calls every day, day in and day out, on average, that would wear you out a little bit. So total calls right at 55,000, and they're doing pretty good at keeping that 80%, right at 80% answer rate. It's tough. We've had like 4 or 5 positions that we've just had a tough time trying to fill over the last quarter. So the team is working really hard to recruit the right person. As you can imagine, it takes a special person to want to work in the call center. It takes a special person that's dedicated to taking care of this community. And sometimes folks just decide that it's not for them, and that's fine. You know, no negatives towards them. It's just, but the folks that do it and that love it, they're great and they're hanging in there. But we have about, like I said, we're doing a lot of recruiting. We got about 4 or 5 positions that we have to fill right now. So we're going to keep working on this. We keep trying to get the word out there. The on-time performance is at 90%. That means we are performing better to get you. You don't need to call. Just, you know, you got that 30-minute window. If you have to have if you have a pickup time at 12 noon, you got until 12:30 p.m. to get picked up. If it's past that time, then yes, please call. Then we can find out where that trip is and see if there's a problem with it. On the other hand, if you're within that window, we really hope that you could just trust us and know that the trip is coming. We're going to take care of it. We're watching it. But every time another call comes in, that's one less line that's open for somebody to make a reservation for another day coming. So, and we're really working with our agents to not be rude, but we don't do recipes. And so, you know, sometimes we get on there and we talk. We're trying to also be a little nicer, but inform people when you call, you have to know the address you want to go to. You can't say, oh, I forgot what the address is, or I think it's that place on South Goldenrod, not North Goldenrod. No, we need to really kind of know, and it takes up a little longer time. But we're trying to do it in a very caring, compassionate, and calm manner. But we're hoping that'll help us out with our response times. Operations, these are some of the opportunities. We continue to work with TransDev, and Johanna is very much involved in this, just in how we schedule the trips, how we route those trips. We get complaints every once in a while that, how come you passed my house a couple times before you took me home? And we understand that. We get it. It's frustrating. So we try to highlight those. We meet on a regular basis, trying to highlight those concerns, and constantly trying to make sure that the software is working right, making sure it's upgraded, and making sure that all the people that are involved with making the schedules and the route assignments are doing it in the most efficient manner on behalf of the customer. The big issue right now is our paratransit vehicles. We have a very old fleet. The newest vehicles that we have in the fleet are 2020s. And they're getting a lot of time and effort. Usually a vehicle lasts about 5 years. And so you can see we're coming right up to their useful life, and that's the newest vehicles in the fleet. So you can, out of 180 some odd vehicles, we got a lot of old vehicles out there. That's why we've ordered 85 vehicles. The problem with it is everybody else in the state of Florida ordered new vehicles. And the manufacturers learned their lesson during COVID that they don't want to just build up and hire a bunch of people and build vehicles and then have to lay them all off when the orders go away. So it's taken some time. I think we're at 4 out of that 85 that we've have delivered or near delivery. So it's going to take some time to get those. We're trying to work with them to get them faster, but it's just kind of the nature of the beast right now. So, but that will help us with our reliability, being able to get the fleet out there every day and taking those trips where we need to go and where community needs to go. Call center, we are looking at doing some things, trying to rearrange how our call center, get a little bit more dedicated reservation taking, a little bit more dedicated folks that are just doing estimated time of arrivals. Going to see how that works. Like I said, we talked about when we have the client on the phone, maybe reminding them that the next time they call, they really have to have the address, get it correct, and you know, not to be rude, and we're not trying to be rude, but we have to, you know, let people know that there's a lot more calls coming in, and we have to say thank you, and we'll hope your trip's great, and we'll talk to you next time you call and move on to the next person and do that in an efficient manner. And then also, we're always looking at technology enhancements, things that we could do to our website, things that we can add to try to track where the vehicles are. That would help. One thing I do want to let the Quality Assurance Task Force know is that Lynx has gone to a new fare technologies called GenFare, and they will be coming out with a new payment app for Paw Pass. So those that use Paw Pass, that is done by American Eagle now. That's the company that provides the technology for it. That's going to be transitioning in another month or two. So by GenFare, so we will be sending out more announcements about any of those individuals that use access links that pay by mobile app there, that it's going to change, and you're going to have to re-register. There's a process to do it. It's pretty easy. But we're just trying to get the word out there, just give everybody the heads up that it is coming. So in summary, demand is robust. As we talked about, on-time performance is being maintained, but we always have challenges. Historically, Wednesdays continue to be our big challenge. So we get done with Tuesday, and we know when we come into work on Wednesday, and Johanna knows she's going to get a call. Juan knows, and when Joey knows, they're all going to get a call, because that is just, for whatever reason, Wednesday is just a huge day for us, and it's becoming bigger and bigger all the time. So the challenges are always there. So we are working that way to attack it. Obviously, get more vehicles out on the road, get more subcontractors supporting, and make that happen. Again, more vehicles, more operators out there on Wednesdays. It's more availability, more opportunity to be on time. The FY24 vehicle procurement, again, 85 vehicles out there. We want to replace the fleet. For FY25, we're looking at another 70 that we'll put in order to enhance that. So you can see we're doing a dramatic refurbishment of our fleet. Focus on the call center like we talked about. And then just one thing, I'm real proud of the team and Ben and Salita and many others that were involved with the team. Did just an extraordinary work doing shelter runs and life sustaining trips back and forth. And this includes TransDev. You know, when we get into that hurricane stage, we shut down regular trips. We go to life sustaining, making sure we get folks to dialysis. And we know that dialysis they're scrambling and they're changing their schedules just as much to get as many people into their facility. And we're trying to support that. And so it's an all hands on deck type operations, and just do a heck of a job. So wanted to do a little shout out there, and you know, just know that the community should know that we're there to help them. And I think during Hurricane Milton, we did 114 shelter trips. Now, these are folks that are not normally eligible for access links, but the county, they ask that we take those folks to a special needs shelter. We get them there, and then we get them home. So real proud of that fact, and just to be a part of the community. Yes. Donations will be accepted at the end of the thing. So with that, open for any questions or comments. You knew there would be.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And before we go to that, just want to say that it's a lot, because with the hurricane, and we all know, just through the media, it was just really intense, just preparing for that, especially with Milton. So thank you all for all that you did for that. I know, especially doing it, and you didn't have to, but you did it. So that we appreciate that. So thank you again.
It's a pleasure.
Ms. Stone. Oh, Ms. Delano.
I just want to say the same. You guys did an awesome job during the hurricane, and we were going to be closed one day, and at the last minute changed to no, we're going to close the next day instead. I mean, and really everybody just went with whatever we handed over, and it's very short time frame, and it went well, and nobody got left behind, and it was wonderful. I just want to say thank you for all of that.
Thank you on behalf of the team. Thank you.
To bring up, what about, we have it's like an app that you guys installed in our center. is that,
my portal.
isn't that helping? I mean, we.
Oh,
use
it's
it
helping,
regularly.
it's helping, but again,
Is it in a lot of places now, or is it still in?
we
the
need to get it
pilot?
out there more.
Yeah,
in
because
more
it's
places.
very, very useful, and I'm sure it cuts back on a lot of calls to the call center.
It's called My Portal, and it's a website that, because our system's web-based now, that a dialysis center, an employment center, they can all go in and go look up an individual and see where their trip is. If they know they're supposed to be here at 10 o'clock, they can look up and say, oh, I see, it's trip
It's
scheduled,
like a
and they're
real
on their way.
time
Yeah.
thing. It's really
So-
good, yeah. Helps a lot.
So yes, we need to keep spreading that out there. It's just a matter of stop, do hurricane, and then we move on to the
Right.
next thing. So yes.
Okay, that's it for me.
Thank you, Delano. Ms. Stone?
Thank you here. I was trying to take notes real quick while you were talking, so this may not be in great order, but at our.
And I was trying to speak real fast so that you.
I
wouldn't
know
take
you
minutes.
were.
So thank you.
I know you were.
Just to be
And
fair.
and I know when you said, of course, you were talking to me. And I
Of course.
said,
Thank you, Cheryl.
thank you, Norm. Our November meeting, as we all know, is when we get a lot of public involvement usually.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if it would be possible for you all to maybe create a one sheet type bullet point information for those people of the public and also for our Metro Clean Orlando elected officials and stuff and all that give the highlights of some of those dramatic numbers as far as the calls that come in, the total square mileage of the 3 counties that Access Links covers, because most people don't know that. And it's breathtaking. It really is that you're
Okay.
able to do
That's a great
what you
idea.
can do. And I really know that a lot of people, not only the public, but our elected officials have no idea the scope of what you actually do.
Okay, just a
And
fact sheet then.
A fact sheet,
Okay.
exactly, with the numbers of the calls, the number of the riders, just boom, 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 boom. And maybe even break it down by county so that it'll get the attention, with elected officials, it has to be, as you know, it has to be specific to their area
Oh, sure.
so that they can use that as talking points for wherever they
Absolutely.
go. And maybe it would be possible during that same meeting, because a lot of those people that have taken their time to come and do the comments about their rides and thanking the company for, doing what they do. And we get a lot of those too, which is very
Sure.
nice. To maybe emphasize, use that as a educational moment, not that you don't, because I know you do, to emphasize rider responsibilities, that they do have control. We do have control as riders. Sometimes you feel like you're just like a part of a cog in a system that's failing you. But if you get down to the nitty gritty, if you realize that you have control and responsibility to help, like you said, with the address, simple things like that, that could make everybody's frustrations, especially ours as a rider, not saying it's our fault, but it really is.
No,
You know,
and again, it's trying to help the system. So it's
Yeah,
not really
and-
pointing at fault. It's just trying to help.
Exactly.
And it helps the rep when they're taking that call, if they have exact, information. And it's
Exactly.
timely, yes.
And emphasize that, that, and make it a response. I always bring it as a responsibility when I talk to people and to follow the complaint process, because my first thing is, I get blah, 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 they didn't do this, they didn't do that. And did you file a complaint? Well, nobody ever listens. Well, then, as far as I'm concerned, you don't have a complaint. How can we tell if their complaint process is working like it's supposed to if you don't follow the system, the way it goes, and use that, maybe a couple of points like that to get them some quick rider education while they're there in the room, and you probably were planning that. I'm not telling you how to do your job.
No,
or
no, no. I
anything,
think these are great points.
by
These
any
are
means,
good talking points.
but you've got a captive audience. And
Right.
if I'm paying for a ride to get there to, say how great you are, to complain about the service, I'm probably going to stay and listen to this group, the board meet, and maybe, throw that in about that,
Okay.
to get that chance, since we don't really do a lot with an, you know, we haven't done a newsletter in years and years, and I understand that. But, there's just so many ways that we could communicate with the riders, but here we've got some in, right in front of us, and they talk, we talk. You know, I mean, I don't use the system really anymore, but those years were quite the learning experience, good and bad, which is why I've stayed, you know, on groups like this for so long. But I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Perfect.
Okay.
Great suggestions. Thank
All
you.
right.
I'm glad to.
Any other questions? I have some questions. But I think they're simple. What, the FEMA category for the, what's that? Like, where did they go?
The FEMA
It was a
category?
FEMA category on your, like, of the different, you know, dialysis, and then it was FEMA. It was 16, yeah. Mhm.
Those were shelter trips, but that was not Milton. That was back in Helene. Helene was
Okay.
not near the extent
was in
that
September. Okay.
Milton was, yeah.
So that FEMA means that
Yeah.
there are trips to the actual shelter.
Right.
Okay, perfect. Thank you
The
for
little
that.
birdie just told me. Thank you, Selena.
Now, as it.
Ma'am, you can come up here at any time. So you should speak once and you'll be at the podium.
So for your vacancies, so you said you have a few, do you all complete exit interviews? Has it been?
Yeah,
has it
a
been
lot of
solely
them,
to
it's
burnout?
a lot of them, it's not so much burnout, it's life changes. You know, things that you have to take care of family members, things that another opportunity come along. They've been wanting to do that opportunity for years and years and years. So it's not like they're leaving and saying, oh, the heck with you guys and everything,
Okay.
but you know, and I'm sure there is some burnout at some point. It's a tough job.
But any trends, so no other trends though in the exit interviews, any trends that you are?
No, it's mainly that folks just moving on, or, you know, a life has changed for them and they want to go, you know, take another opportunity, or they have to go take care of a family member, etc. Or they're moving, you know, those kind of things.
What's and you probably don't know this, what's the average length of stay for your employees in the call center?
I don't know it off the top of my head. We got a lot of folks that have been there a long time, like our supervisors. They've all been there for a long, long time.
Okay.
Longer than they were all there, working. One is the newest supervisor, and she's probably 4 years as a supervisor, but she was working prior to my even starting 5.5 years ago. So when people get into it, they love it. Or they're crazy enough to stay. That's, you know, like.
Well, that's why, so your vacancies when you look at that, like when you looked at your vacancies, did you see like how long they've been with the agency? Like, are these long-term employees that left? Were these just
No, they're
those who were
usually
newer to
folks
the
that are a little bit shorter in
Okay.
length of time, but you know, we do have some folks that after a while, this things change in their life that they have to move on.
All right. Now, when let me ask this
We
question.
do have a lot of them that do come back though. Yeah, you're right. So,
Okay.
once again, Selena Stubbs, back to the microphone. Thank you very much. But no, we do, and one in mind, yes, that, you know, they went off, tried something else that, you know, that grass was greener, the old saying, and they came back and they said, as crazy as you all are, this is family. So, you know, and then we have some that are just struggling with, we got some that are struggling with some health issues that, you know, but they keep coming back and they keep, no, I'm coming to work every day. And it's like, man, if that ain't an inspiration, I don't know what else is.
Right, right, okay. As long as you all are monitoring the trends, because I know you always want to monitor that, especially if it's at one time you see during this period that's unusual.
Sure.
But let me ask, so last year, I believe I was at the Mobility Week. I'm pretty sure that's where I was. Were we at the Lighthouse for the Blind last year?
Yeah.
Okay. They had the call center. So have they been considered to possibly fill some of the vacancies? Is they were doing really well in that call center. So have we reached out to that agency, you know, for possible opportunities to fill those vacancies?
No, have not.
Is that something that you all have discussed? Is it even an option?
We would have to go through like an RFP process and everything. Now, we did talk to, we had an idea or suggestion a while back about taking on a call center, maybe bringing them in. We talked to them. There's a lot of training that goes on with it and everything. So we haven't explored it any further. So we don't And we don't want to go steal people from the lighthouse necessarily.
No,
either.
but I think it would be good. We don't want you to do that now. But I still think it would be good to really consider that population so that, because, I mean, they excited and it was going really well. I learned a lot during that time, so I think it's definitely something
We
to
could explore it.
consider.
Yeah.
I don't know. You have any?
I don't want to make
feedback
any
on-
promises, but we can explore it.
Do the applicants, work from home or do they have to come to the link center?
For
So
their
what-
training, they come to the center and they're there for about 5-6 weeks because it's a pretty extensive training orientation they have to go to. But then when they're permanently, they're working remote. Yes.
Right. And the link center is the place that we all went for you know.
No, that's
No.
over on 2500 Lynx Lane. That's at the Operations Center for Lynx.
That's where the training is.
Yes,
I
Yes.
see.
but they work remote.
Ms. Stone and then Ms. Baldwin.
You actually wouldn't be taking people who work at Lighthouse. Should be recruiting from people that are getting services at Lighthouse, whether they're blind or have mobility issues, et cetera, et cetera. If they can work from home, set them up and, heck, I'd do that, if I didn't have to go somewhere because it's a struggle. A struggle to be driving, yeah.
Happen to have an application right here, man. No.
No, I like talking to people on the phone.
If you'd
But,
like, we can arrange a trip and we'll have you talking to Lindy Castillo here in about 10 minutes. So.
uh-oh, I'm in
Yeah.
trouble now.
That's good
But-
to know though, especially about the recruiting, because they're receiving the services. but-
Yeah,
And they are gonna have they understand the system, so I think that'll even help with the training, so I would definitely encourage.
yeah, people with disabilities have a real rough time,
Mhm.
getting to work. Employment is your biggest trip.
And we
There.
encourage that,
Yeah,
we welcome individuals that have that understanding and have that
Yeah.
perspective and have that background. So.
And,
yes,
it's like
absolutely.
me, I always knew I was gonna be disabled because I've been disabled ever since I can remember. I never thought I was gonna get old. And it's like, what the
You and
heck?
me both.
Yeah, and now I got all this old stuff on top of the disability
You
stuff, and
and
it's
me
like,
both.
what? What's happened? But, I just, recruiting from some of the best drivers I've ever had with Lynx were veterans that came back and they were dead. And it's not a profession, being a driver or something, usually, but there are some people that is a second career or profession, and retired people and stuff like that. They're really dedicated to that. And for others, it's a stepping stone. It's like, anything else, you go into, greener pastures.
Yeah.
But maybe reaching out to veterans organizations, even the disabled American veterans groups and things like that. There's plenty of, there's different disabilities in that group. My husband was commander of Chapter 16 for a long time, and just because it's a disabled veteran doesn't mean that, their disability precludes them from being a driver or something.
Thank you, Ms. Stone.
All right,
Thank
I'll
you
shut
for
up
that.
now.
Ms. Baldwin.
You all have kind of said what I was going to ask. Norm, do we have a list of, numbers of persons with disabilities that you do employ? And hopefully that is something that we're doing, since that is the population that we serve.
Yes, ma'am.
So hopefully those numbers will improve or increase in the coming years.
Sure. Excellent, excellent.
Thank you, Ms. Baldwin. Okay, I had another question. For the calls, are they those are not unduplicated calls,
No,
calls.
those are all individuals.
but some are, like, we can't determine which are calling back and are they, does that make sense what I'm asking?
You mean that they called in, waited for 10 minutes and then hung up and then
Correct.
called back again?
Thank you, yes,
A lot of them are.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's no way to separate, the system can't
No,
separate the two,
no,
so
it's
we don't.
No, I
Okay.
mean, unfortunately, no, it's just how many calls that we actually took in to the queue, right?
Okay, that's interesting.
Mr. Norm, I didn't get a copy of what's on the slides. will I have it for the LCB meeting?
Yes,
For the next month.
Yeah, for next month.
Yes, you'll have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But I will say, I'm sorry, Madam
No,
Chair,
you go ahead, Ms. Ball.
that when I'm calling in, I'm not on hold as long as before. So it is improving.
That's a good thing.
It is very.
Thank you, and that concludes my show for today. Sorry, Madam Chair. No, Madam Chair,
No,
no.
I had a couple more.
Thank you, Marilyn. We appreciate
But
that.
that's good to
And we
know though.
appreciate that feedback. That's important, yes.
That's good because every little bit helps. So now for the deliveries, the order, did you say 85 plus 75?
We have 85 on order right now.
Uh-huh.
I have budget approval, capital budget approval for FY 25 to go get another 75.
Okay, good. And we don't have an ETA.
We do not have that. I haven't ordered those yet because I'm trying to get the first 85 in. Yeah.
And there's no estimated time of delivery, like did they say in 6 months, 3 months, nothing?
No,
Yes,
it's just
nothing.
they're gonna trickle in when they trickle in. That's
Okay. All right.
the other thing is too, they have to go through an inspection process because they're
Mhm.
grant funded. Not to get too much in the weeds, but they have to go to Tallahassee first, be checked out and be inspected and make sure that they meet the grant. With all the vehicles going up there, they're behind also. So it's just this one domino after another domino after another domino. So
Okay.
again, it's just the situation that we're in. Hopefully they'll get it kind of a cycle going through and we'll start to see a lot more of the deliveries coming in here in the very near future.
Will it be all 85 at one time or do they just?
Oh,
come
I
like
hope
10?
not.
Oh,
Oh, I hope
okay.
not. Oh, no. I'll take 10. I'll take 10 one week and then maybe 10 another week, but no, we don't want 85 at one time because
Okay. And you said something, this may have been when you were speaking fast, as I didn't, about, you said something about new technology, so, and that we were switching over. So how are the customer, are they being notified of it? How are they being notified of it?
we are working with our marketing team. That is on the Fair Payment mobile app.
Mhm.
It's a Fair generated product. It's still going to be called Paw Pass,
Okay,
but it's going to look different on your phone.
okay,
Okay, you're gonna have to go download that app, and then re-register for that particular app. And yes, we'll have talking points and frequently asked questions and
Okay.
videos and so, but I'm just getting that word out there right now because we know what's coming.
right, that's good. So you'll have explainer videos, because those are.
Oh,
extremely
yes,
helpful.
yes.
Okay, those are very helpful. Wonderful. And then I didn't hear you today mention anything or the status of where we are as far as the 7-day where they can call it reserve 7 days.
PD can take 7-day, ADA takes 7-day reservations. Yeah. We
So
changed that.
it's in process
It's
now?
we implemented that. Yes, we have.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so okay, this is my last question, and this is about an individual. I'm not gonna say the name.
How many times has she said this is my last question?
This is really my last question.
This is where you guys are
So-
supposed to jump in. Okay, so.
So back in September, and it was right around Grandparents' Day, and I know because I was attending an event, and there was an individual, she was waiting, Access Links did well getting her there, but the struggle was picking her up. And so it was, because I was a part of the event, she was still outside waiting maybe 30, 45 minutes after the time that she was supposed to be picked up. And so when we walked out, I said, you're here? Why are you here? She said, that's when I found out she was waiting for Access Link. And so I said, go ahead and call, we'll wait with you. She called and it was gonna be another 20 minutes or so before the van would arrive, but now it's extremely dark because it was about to storm. And so since that was an event that I was familiar with, I said, you know what, and there was no covering, rather than have you wait out here, I'll drive you home, because I know it's gonna be 20 and it's gonna pour down. And so I said, but call to let them know. She let them know, hey, I'm leaving because of whatever. And it wasn't a no call, no show, but they said that was fine, but they were gonna document it as a missed ride. Can you all help me out?
No show.
Missed trip.
Wow.
And that just didn't seem fair to me. So help me understand that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so it doesn't go, because she was extremely worried and she was saying, I don't want that on me, but well, just so you know, because she was talking while we were in the car, saying, hey, I don't want that on my record. But the person on the phone didn't explain that it was on you all. They were saying it's nothing we can do about it. We just have to document it this way. And so I was even thinking, wait, that's on you. And I said, I'll ask the question because I don't quite understand. So Miss Tripp is on you all. So what happens? What happens when it's on you?
We don't pay for trips, first of all. So,
It's referred back to the contract with the metro.
yes.
Okay. Okay, and so then once they submit, it's not paid for. Got it.
Right.
Okay. Do we have a lot of missed trips? Do you all know that?
We have a few.
What's a few, like 3?
No. No.
Okay.
If you would like to ask at a different venue,
Okay,
okay, so no.
okay, so I
Yeah,
think.
it's a challenge, and it's
Okay.
one of the things that we go through our reconciliation process, and I think you'd be, and I want to, I will bore you but we do a lot of reconciliation with the trips.
Okay.
Okay, we make
Okay.
sure what we pay for is correct, what the
Mhm.
taxpayers are paying for, not
Okay.
we, but
Okay.
we as taxpayers. So, yes,
Okay, but missed trips are back on, and when it's on the customer, it's the no call, no show.
it's no shows.
Okay,
It's
or
a
no show. Okay, no show. Okay. Well, thank you for clarifying that. And because I was really concerned. I said, wait, I'll find out, but I wasn't sure. But now that you said it, I'm just concerned that the call center representative did not explain that, because she was really concerned about it being on her record because she had such a good record. So. All right, I think that's all I have for now. Any more questions? All right, well, Norm, that was good.
You could have helped me out here. So, thank you all.
Thank you so much, Norm. We do appreciate you. We do. Yes, that was easy. So we will continue and we're moving on to general information. The 2024, which is what Ms. Whittington spoke about, FDOT Mobility Week. Remember, we have the blind experience, which is tomorrow. My first time with it was last year, and I enjoyed it. And so I would encourage you all, if you have the opportunity, it's at 10 a.m. to really go out. It's worth the experience to really go out to try to understand. But I truly enjoy. I think last year I was able to even build a box for Disney. I didn't get the video though, but it was really good. But it was a wonderful experience, and I plan to be able to participate tomorrow. So our upcoming meetings of interest, we have our TDLCB, which is Thursday, November 14th. That is our annual public meeting. Oh, I do have one. It's a comment, but it's not a question, Norm.
Okay.
That would be our 6 months that you said you'll have a length of stay for us in November. 6 months in May, you said you'll have it for us, a length of stay for the trips on the vehicle. Length of trip. Sorry, I'm in my own world. Length of trip. I'm sorry. Yes, for November as well. But that's our annual public meeting at 10 o'clock. TDLCB immediately following. The TDA annual public meeting will be held at 10 a.m. TDLCB will meet at 10:30 or immediately after conclusion of the public meeting. And just remember, the location is not here. It's at Heart of West Lakes Wellness Center, which is 710 South Tampa Avenue, Orlando, Florida. So remember, it's not here. It's at 710 South Tampa Avenue, Orlando, Florida.
And Madam Chair, if I can say one thing with
Yes.
this, we are really encouraging the riders and the community to come in person. Over the last few years, when COVID was more prevalent, we were asking them to join virtually, but we want to go back to that model. And to Cheryl's point, to have information available so that it's more educational. We do have partners who will have information tables at that event as well.
Okay,
And
good.
so Lynx is going to have an information table. Metro Plan Orlando, we've invited the community health centers of Florida, Safe Mobility for Life.
Oh, good.
All of those partners will be there with information tables.
Are you accepting more?
I think we can do up to 5 or 6. Let me know who you're interested in.
Because I was thinking about a couple groups, asking if, because there are people out, support groups out there that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah, let's
but-
touch base.
Yeah.
And I can find out and make sure we can accommodate that accommodate the tables, but then, we gotta have, if we have the tables and the information, we want to have the people. So
Right. Yeah, you gotta
have you all
yeah,
to please
people-
spread the word through
people
your
manning it,
networks
yeah.
as well,
I
so that they're
understand, I
there.
understand. Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, and then the Metro Plan Orlando Board meeting is Wednesday, December 11th. Do you have those dates? And now we are at member comments. We are now at member comments. Are there any committee members who have a final comment? Ms. Baldwin, you're recognized.
Okay. Comment, maybe request. Miss Virginia, some time ago, we used to have members of our board that would talk about what they do. I would like to request that Betsy talk with us, maybe do a film presentation about our dialysis clients. I think it would be very informative and educational for our board.
Thank you, Ms. Baldwin.
If Betsy is willing, we will put her on the schedule. In fact, your network was used in our application that got us this award. So we did talk about how, your affiliation with us, and you're going back to your network of dialysis centers, and you were a great example of how we go outside of this room with information.
And when would you like to have that presentation?
Well, it would likely be in February or April of next year, because our November meeting is really
Right.
full
Too
already.
soon, I'm really busy too, so,
Okay.
okay. Right now, I just am, but in the beginning of the year would be fine.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank
Great
you.
recommendation.
Thank you.
Great recommendation. Any other member comments? Okay, moving on, seeing none. Moving on to public comments. This is the second opportunity for public comments. Comments heard at this point in the meeting are more general in nature and similar to the first. Comments may be made in person or online by joining us via Zoom. Members of the public joining us virtually who wish to speak will use the raise hand features on the Zoom screen. If attending by phone, you can hit *9 to raise your hand and request to be recognized. When you're called, staff will unmute your microphone and will ask you to state your name and contact information for the record. Lisa, is there anyone online wishing to comment on the action items?
Madam Chair, there are no hands raised
great.
online and there's no comments received in the room.
Thank you so much. Were any submitted by email or phone?
We have not received any, Madam Chair.
All right. Well, we've reached the end of our meeting. And I definitely want to say thank you all for attending today. Thank you, Norm, again for your report. I want to go back because I don't think that we gave this enough applause. Yeah, I am. But we received, the CTD Planning Agency received Agency of the Year. And I know that our Metro Plan team, and I know I saw Virginia with her presentation, but as a team, we all did it. And I think that just deserves a huge round of applause for that, because that was something that's a big deal across the state. So something, it really is, it's major. So I just didn't want to just go, and so thank you for that. Thank you all for allowing me to do that. And now that this concludes the business we have before us today, our next QATF meeting is January 28th at 10 o'clock here at Metro Plan Orlando. And if there is nothing else, we are adjourned. Yay. Okay.
Good job.